Rigor Malone interview. Where did this incident occur?
It was near Nordegg, near a big lake. I believe it was called Abrams Lake on a forestry road. I'd say about 20 miles into the bush.
North of Highway 11?
West.
Okay. What date did this take place to the best of your memory?
Near the end of June, 1972.
Was it at night or day?
Day.
What time of day was it?
It was about 3 o'clock p.m.
Describe the area in which the incident took place.
It was fairly heavily bushed. There weren't any big, gigantic trees or anything around. A lot of low-lying shrub. There were a few tall trees, pine, fairly, green and nice. It was a very pretty area.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little grassy area. It was taller grass, and then there was a stand of trees off just behind where I was.
What distance would you estimate you were from the creature when you saw it?
I've thought about this time and time and time again. I would say I was not any more than 55 feet away.
What was your first reaction?
I was stunned.
What was it doing?
Standing there.
Did it stand or walk on two legs?
It did.
Did you ever see it go down on all fours?
Never.
Was it covered in hair?
Yes.
What color was it?
It was matty. It was matted, browns, blacks, grays, different shades of browns and grays and blacks.
How tall would you estimate this creature to have been?
Over 7 feet.
What would you estimate its weight to have been? Any idea at all?
It was big.
Heavy.
It was very heavy, heavily built, very.
Did you see any facial features?
Yeah, I did. Eyes and nose were most prominent.
Could you describe them? The eyes, the nose, the ears?
I don't think I saw ears. I saw a front view. I could describe the eyes. Yeah, for sure. They were set fairly back in the head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I was too far. They were dark. Fairly hairy. It was underneath kind of a mop of hair and stuff. Deep set, very piercing, kind of like piercing, starey. The nose was kind of jutted out a little bit, and came down in kind of a slope.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best description I can give you.
Could you describe the arms?
Very long, hung down almost to the knees.
Were they very big, like massive?
Muscles, yeah. Big. This creature had gigantic shoulders. Now I would say, what's that? 3 feet?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say 3 feet across.
Could you see if it was male or female?
No, I couldn't. It didn't have breasts or anything. I know that much. So.
How long did you see this creature for?
Well, it seemed like an eternity. I would probably say I stood there and stared at this thing for about 7 to 10 minutes.
And it just stood there and stared at
And
you?
it stood there and stared right back at me.
Did it ever make any noise?
It made a low, guttural kind of a moan. It sounded like in the back of its throat.
Mm-hmm. I imagine it did see you.
Yes, it did.
If it did see you, what was its reaction?
I think he felt the same way I did. He was amazed that I was there, and I was amazed that he was there. We were both trying to figure each other out.
So you were
That's my main impression.
Yeah, you were just standing there looking at each other. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Did you smell any powerful odor before
did.
or during the sighting?
I did. Yes, I did. It was a very musky. The closest thing I can tell you what it smelled like was a dog in heat. That's the closest, that kind of stingy smell to your nose. It wasn't terribly unpleasant, though.
After the creature had moved off, did you check for any footprints?
No, I didn't.
Did you report what you saw to park officials or police?
No, I did not.
Did you report it to anyone other than the mentioned above? Did you report to anyone else besides park officials or police?
It to my brother, just my brother.
Just family members?
Not even my parents, just my brother. I mentioned I saw something hairy and big in the woods. He teased me about it.
In your own words, describe what happened from beginning and when you walked in, when you first saw it, and what happened.
Well, we weren't doing anything particular that afternoon. My father was cleaning a bunch of fish that he caught, and I decided I was just going to take a nature walk through the bushes. And I guess I strayed quite a ways away from where we were tented out. And I remember walking and walking and walking, and I came across some low-lying plants, and I knew that they were strawberry plants because I'd been out in that area before, and I also, of course, knew what strawberries looked like. And I bent down, and I started picking them. And all of a sudden, I remember feeling something watching me, and I remember hearing the bushes rattle. And I turned around and I glanced over my shoulder, and I saw this creature standing there, and I got up immediately. I rose to my feet immediately and turned around and looked bold-faced into this creature's face. It stood there and it looked back at me. For the longest time, we just stood there and stared at each other. It made this low noise in the back of its throat, and that was like instant reaction. I just took off and I ran as fast and as far as I could. After I was away for a little while, I remember getting sick. I was so scared. I was very, very sick. And I remember getting sick, and I just ran the rest of the way back to the campsite where we were.
How old were you when this happened?
13.
Was it a camping trip with your family?
Yes, it was.
Just kept you, and you wandered off on your own?
Yeah, I wandered off on my own, just, doing a little nature thing by myself. That was,
Okay, right. So you were the only one to see this?
Yes, unfortunately.
Lake where I'll be searching